Part 9. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 81. Chapter 81. It's cold, let Chengui go bankrupt. Let alone expel problematic students, even the principal can be replaced with just one word. But Chengui's side. Wei Zheng thought for a while and said truthfully, Mr. Mo, Chengui is a well-known medium-sized enterprise. It is not small in scale and has no problem with its revenue. If I suddenly go to negotiate an acquisition with them, I am afraid that Chengui will not be willing. When Mo Yesi raised his head and looked at Wei Zheng with his cold eyes, Wei Zheng suddenly didn't dare to speak. According to you, if Mr. Mo wants to acquire a company, he still has to look at the other party's wishes to decide whether to acquire it or not. When Wei Zheng heard this, his liver trembled with fright, and he hurriedly said, Mr. Mo, that's not what I meant. Mo Yesi half squinted his eyes, slammed the document on the table, and said word for word coldly, if you don't want to, then short Chengui's stock market and make Chengui bankrupt. At that time, I will ask Mr. Mo to buy it. Wei Zheng's eyes showed surprise. Short Chengui's stock market? It will cost a lot of money, right? Although Mo is not short of such a small amount of money, the original intention of the acquisition is to make a profit. But if Mr. Mo does this, he is not doing it to make money at all. This is going to cost money. He has been with Mr. Mo for several years and has never seen Mr. Mo doing business at a loss. This is really the first time. Wei Zheng felt that all the abnormal things Mr. Mo had done recently seemed to be related to the young lady. This time, it won't be related to the young lady again, right? Yes, Mr. Mo. Although Wei Zheng was full of questions, the boss had already spoken. In addition to obeying the order, did he dare to ask one more question? Mr. Mo said that Chengui must go bankrupt, then Chengui must go bankrupt. It doesn't matter whether it's cold or not. Asterisk. The next day, Qiao Mian heard that Shen Yuiyu and Zhao Wanting were expelled from the school. Because of the bad nature, the whole school was informed. At the same time, in the afternoon of that day, all major financial news channels were reporting on the overnight bankruptcy of Chengui Group, saying that Chengui's stock price fell into a dog overnight, so fast that there was no chance of rescue. Chengui is also a well-known local company. It has been in business for more than 20 years and has never experienced any economic crisis. In just one night, he suddenly went bankrupt, which surprised all the people who wanted to eat melons. Everyone is speculating on the reasons for Chengui's bankruptcy. Some people say that Chengui has had internal problems for a long time, but they have been hiding them from the outside world. Now they can no longer hold on and are finally exposed. Some people said that boss Sheng Hui had offended someone and someone deliberately wanted to kill Sheng Hui. If it's the latter, Sheng Hui can be destroyed overnight. One can imagine how amazing the other party's power and financial resources are. While everyone was speculating, Qiao Mian was also surprised when she heard the news. She sent a text message to Mo Yesi, Chengui went bankrupt, did you do it? Mo Yesi replied quickly, yes. Seeing her reply, Qiao Mian was stunned for 2 seconds. She asked again, is it, because of me? Mo Yesi, yeah. Qiao Mian. Even if she doesn't know much about these things in business, she also understands that it is definitely not an easy thing to bankrupt a large company overnight. She never thought that Mo Yesi would do this for her. In fact, she didn't suffer much yesterday. Speaking of it, Shen Yuiyu and his group were also the ones who suffered. She thought that beating those people up and letting them go into trouble would be enough punishment. Hold on. If you hold on for one more day, you'll have a holiday. End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 82. Chapter 82. I'm downstairs in your dormitory, come down. Who would have thought that Mo Yesi would actually let the Du family's company go bankrupt? Isn't it too overbearing to just say bankruptcy or something like that? After a while, Mo Yesi sent her another text message, "There is no class now." Chiao Mian recovered from her daze and replied, "Well, the class for this morning has been completed. There are 2 more classes in the afternoon." Mo Yesi, come down. Chiao Mian looked at the text message he sent and was stunned for 2 seconds before replying in confusion, "Come down? What's the meaning?" As soon as she sent this text message, Mo Yesi called. The call was connected, and the man's deep magnetic voice came into his ears, "I'm downstairs in your dormitory, come down." Chiao Mian. She is absolutely terrifying. Mo Yesi came to their school again. Moreover, it's now downstairs in the girls' dormitory. Chiao Mian opened the door and walked out of the dormitory, and saw a bunch of people gathered in the corridor, all looking downstairs with excitement. Wow, there is a very handsome man standing downstairs. Isn't that the handsome guy who took Chiao Mian away yesterday? He's here again. Chiao Mian must be too happy, so she broke up with Suzy and found a rich, handsome boyfriend. TCH, I'm not sure if he's her boyfriend or not, maybe he's the man who supports her. No, is it necessary for such a handsome man to keep a woman? Even if he is really keeping a woman, don't you want to be kept by such a man? Anyway, I really want to, and I am willing to do it even if you don't give me money. Hearing everyone's discussion, Chiao Mian's lips twitched and she glanced downstairs. With just one glance, she saw the tall man standing under the tree. The sun shines through the gaps in the leaves, and the mottled light shines on his handsome three-dimensional face, as if giving his deep features a layer of pale golden halo. He was dressed in a suit and leather shoes. The hand-tailored black suit fit properly on his body, showing off his perfect body proportions. The long legs wrapped in suit pants are extremely eye-catching. And his cold and ascetic temperament made him even more hormonal. Every girl who passed by him blushed. A few girls wanted to strike up a conversation, but as soon as they took 2 steps toward him, they were repulsed by his cold and distant gaze without a trace of warmth. He seemed to have the 4 words "keep away from strangers" written all over his body. Chiao Mian once again deeply felt that Mo Yesi's misogyny really existed. Except for her, he is really repulsive and cold to other women. A woman's active approach will really disgust him. As if he noticed her gaze, Mo Yesi suddenly raised his head. Look straight at her. The 2 people's eyes met in mid-air. The moment he saw her, the indifference and alienation in the man's eyes disappeared, and the coldness and displeasure in his eyes also disappeared in an instant. In those dark eyes that were originally cold, a soft light overflowed faintly. At this moment, Chiao Mian's heart beat hard with a bang sound. Asterisk. Chiao Mian trotted downstairs. As soon as she walked in front of Mo Yesi, the man spread his arms, reached out and pulled her into his arms, hugging her hard. He hugged me very tightly. As if he wanted to embed her into his body, he buried his head in her hair, took a deep breath, and said in a hoarse voice, Mian, have you missed me?" When Mo Yesi was held in his arms, Chiao Mian felt that his body was stiff and cold. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 83. Chapter 83, I want to see you, so I'm here. But soon, his stiff body slowly relaxed, and his embrace gradually became warmer. Mo Yesi said in a hoarse voice, Mian, do you miss me? Mo Yesi, thinking that this was downstairs in the girls' dormitory and so many people were watching, Chiao Mian's face became hot and she said, can you let me go? Others are watching us. After she finished speaking, she struggled slightly. She does not reject his approach. But so many pairs of eyes fell on him and her, which made Chiao Mian feel very uncomfortable. Baby, don't move. Mo Yesi tightened his arms and rested his chin on the top of her hair. There was a hint of exhaustion in his deep and hoarse voice. I'm so tired. Just let me hold you for a while. It'll take just 1 minute. Good. Hearing the fatigue in his voice and feeling that he seemed really tired, Chiao Mian hesitated for a moment, then obediently snuggled into his arms and let him hold her. Countless glances with unknown meanings fell on the two of them. Looking at the man who was so cold to other women 1 second, but the next second, he was so gentle and affectionate towards the girl in his arms, many of the girls who were watching showed envy and jealousy in their eyes. I wish I could take Chiao Mian's place immediately and experience what it feels like to be held in the arms of such a handsome guy. 1 minute later. Mo Yesi, like a satiated lion, finally let go of Chiao Mian. The tired look on the man's deep and three-dimensional handsome face has faded a lot. It seemed that in that minute, a lot of energy was restored. When he spoke again, his voice didn't sound so tired. Have you had lunch? Chiao Mian looked at him blankly and shook her head. No. She was getting ready to eat when he came. Why are you here? Chiao Mian was still a little dazed. For 2 days in a row, he ran to school to look for her during working hours. Does he have a lot of leisure time at work? She knows that he is the big boss and has free working hours and is not restricted by the 9-to-5 schedule. However, she felt that he was the kind of person who lived a very disciplined life. Whether it was work or other aspects, he should be arranged very regularly and well planned. It's not like him to skip work midway or something like that. Mo Yesi stared at her with his dark eyes, which seemed to be filled with thick ink that could not be removed. After looking at her for a while, he whispered, I wanted to see you, so I came here. Chiao Mian's heart was beating fast as she was teased by accident. I wanted to see you, so I came. In Chiao Mian's understanding, this sentence is equivalent to missing you. She looked at the extremely handsome and deep face in front of her, and her heart beat rapidly. The man's eyes were deep, with a black shadow under his eyes. He paused, and then whispered, You were not here last night, and I couldn't sleep. Chiao Mian. She didn't know that Mo Yesi had trouble sleeping. I just thought he was teasing her again. My face couldn't help but feel hot, and my little heart beat faster. But the fact is that Mo Yesi really didn't sleep well last night. I slept intermittently for 2 or 3 hours, and woke up several times in the middle. Even when I fell asleep, I had nightmares one after another. The nightmare that had been with him for 20 years, haunted him like a devil, and would torture him in his dreams once he fell asleep. Only when she was there could he take a breath. Chiao Mian blushed, raised her head and glanced at him, and saw that his eyes were filled with red bloodshot eyes. Looks like he really didn't get a good rest. End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 84. After Chapter 84, things will get better gradually. She frowned, then why don't you take a good rest at home? You are the boss of the company, and you don't have to go to the company to work every day. Mo Yesi curled his lips and raised his hand to touch her head. Do you feel sorry for me? There's no need to rest. I can't sleep at home, so I might as well go to the company to work. Aren't you sleepy? He shook his head. I'm not sleepy. No matter how long he has had insomnia, he will not feel sleepy, but his mental state will not be very good. Chiao Mian's eyes showed surprise. Don't you feel sleepy even if you have insomnia? Every time she had insomnia, she would be as sleepy as a dog the next day. There are still people who don't feel sleepy even if they have insomnia. Mo Yesi shook his head again. He stretched out his hand to rub his eyebrows and said in a hoarse voice, I will be tired, but I won't feel sleepy. Even the 3 or 4 hours of very poor quality sleep every night can only be achieved by taking sleeping pills. Is this the case every time you have insomnia? Isn't this a terrible feeling? Yeah, Moyesi was silent for a few seconds, as if he was lost in some kind of memory. After a while, he sighed softly, "It's very bad." "Then do you often suffer from insomnia?" "Well, often." Chiao Mian immediately sympathized with him. She would feel very bad when she occasionally had insomnia, and it would take her several days to adjust back to her normal state. Wouldn't it be even worse if someone like him often suffers from insomnia and cannot catch up on his sleep? She felt that the worst thing in the world was not being able to sleep well. "I thought God was very partial to him and gave him the best of everything, but I didn't expect." As soon as Moyesi lowered his head, he saw the girl in front of him looking at him with a distressed look. In an instant, somewhere in my heart became soft. He reached out and touched the top of her head, with a look of endearment in his eyes that he didn't even notice. "It will get better slowly in the future." "Ah. It's probably because God took pity on me that he placed you next to me." Chiao Mian blinked, not understanding what he meant. What does it have to do with her whether he slept well or not? She is not a doctor in related fields, so she can treat him. Looking at the confusion in her eyes, Moyesi didn't explain much. He stretched out a hand and took her soft white hand. His long white fingers squeezed between her fingers and interlocked with hers. "It's almost noon. Let's go and have lunch with me." Asterisk. Moyesi drove here by himself today. He drove a Lamborghini. In the parking lot, the silver-gray supercar was very eye-catching. After getting in the car, Chiao Mian asked casually, "Why isn't Uncle Lee here?" Moyesi turned his head to look at her, raised his lips, and said jokingly, "I told him that I wanted to be alone with my wife. There were some things that were inconvenient to do while he was here. So he didn't come." Chiao Mian, cough cough cough. She coughed and her face turned red again. She shouldn't have asked this question. Seeing her little face turned red from being teased by him, Moyesi had a pleasant smile in his eyes and added, "I thought you thought so too. You always felt embarrassed when I got close to you before. Now that there are only two of us, can I hug and kiss as much as I want?" As he spoke, he leaned towards her. That suffocatingly handsome face is getting closer and closer to Chiao Mian, getting closer and closer. End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 85. Chapter 85. The Spendthrift Woman. His warm and moist breath sprayed onto her face, and his attractive thin lips pressed down. Soon, he was going to kiss her. Chiao Mian's heart was beating wildly, her eyelashes trembled, and she closed her eyes in panic. Waiting. 1 second has passed, 2 seconds have passed. The man's hot lips did not fall on her lips. Chiao Mian opened her eyes in confusion, only to see Moyesi lowering his head to fasten his seat belt. So, she was just being sentimental? She thought he was going to kiss her, but in the end he just helped her fasten her seat belt. For a moment, Chiao Mian was so embarrassed that she wanted to dig a hole and get in there. She was actually looking forward to the kiss just now? Ah, it's really embarrassing. Asterisk. By the time they reached the eating place, Chiao Mian's face was still burning. She didn't even dare to look at Moyesi. The place where Moyesi brought her was naturally very high-end. The owner of the restaurant came out to greet her and respectfully took the two of them into the VIP box in the backyard. The decoration style of the restaurant is very classical, like an ancient noble mansion. Taking the menu, Moyesi handed it to Chiao Mian without looking at it. "Order what you like." "Oh." Chiao Mian took it and turned it over to read a page when she was shocked by the high price. "Let me go, did you make a mistake?" A piece of crab roe tofu actually costs thousands of yuan. Moreover, this is a very cheap dish. Other seafood or delicacies, any dish can cost tens of thousands. She felt that the place Mo Yesi brought her to was much more expensive than the revolving restaurant last time. Chiao Mian rummaged around for a long time and finally ordered the cheapest fried cabbage. But just a plate of fried cabbage costs several hundred yuan. I've finished ordering. It's up to you to order the other dishes. She handed the hot menu to Mo Yesi. Mo Yesi took it and turned it over, then asked the waiter, "How many dishes did we order?" The waiter said respectfully, "Mr. Hui Mo, you only ordered one dish." Mo Yesi was stunned. "Only ordered one dish? What dish?" "Waiter, pak choy with garlic paste." Mo Yesi. His eyebrows twitched fiercely, and he looked up at Chiao Mian. "You just ordered a side of Chinese cabbage? This needs to be known." He, Mo Yesi, took a woman out to eat, and she only ordered the cheapest fried cabbage. I wonder how he would be laughed at. "Yeah, what's the matter? Don't you like eating cabbage?" Chiao Mian blinked with an innocent expression on her face. "No, forget it, let me have some." For the first time in his life, he met a woman who wanted to save money for him. Mo Yesi felt, very complicated. Don't this little thing still know how rich her husband is? Otherwise, why would you want to save money for him? He sighed softly, as if he was helpless, picked up the pen, and ticked off a few of the most expensive dishes, and then specially ordered an after-dinner ice cream for Chiao Mian. "Last time I took her to the revolving restaurant, she seemed to like ice cream. Wait until the waiter leaves?" Mo Yesi reached out and pulled Chiao Mian, who was sitting next to him, into his arms. He pinched her chin, came to the corner of her lips and kissed her gently. "Didn't I tell you not to save money for me? I'm not so poor that I can only let you eat cabbage. Baby, your husband is very good. I have more money than I can spend in my lifetime. What I want to see is not how you save money for me. I hope you can be a prodigal woman who spends money every day." Happy weekend everyone. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 86. Chapter 86. Her husband is too rich. If you don't know how to spend money, I can find someone to teach you. Chiao Mian. What is this requirement? He actually wanted to find someone to teach her how to spend money. When a man makes money, he spends it on his wife and children. If you don't spend my money, I will feel very unfulfilled. Mian, if you don't spend my money, it will make me feel that you haven't accepted the fact that I am your husband. Chiao Mian felt something being stuffed in her hand. She looked down and saw that it was the black card that Mo Yesi had given her before. He kissed her soft lips gently, held the corner of her mouth and whispered, "There is a limit of 1 million on this card every month, which is my pocket money for you. If you like anything, you can buy it. No need to save your money and tell me if you don't have enough. Don't refuse me anymore, don't make me angry again, 1 million a month, but it's just pocket money." Chiao Mian's heart. Her husband is too rich. She pinched the black card in her hand and said weakly, "Do you always give this much pocket money to others?" "Of course not." The man glanced at her with his deep and charming eyes. "You are not good at spending money, so you can only give less." Chiao Mian. "Mr. Mo, I'm sorry to bother you." Asterisk. The waiter quickly brought their ordered dishes to the table. Seeing the various abalone, sea cucumber and other sky-high prices on the table, every time Chiao Mian took a bite, she felt that what she was eating was not vegetables but RMB. With the mentality that she would never waste it even if she stretched herself to death, after finishing the meal, She stretched herself until her stomach was round. Slumped on the sofa, not wanting to move at all. Moyesi hugged the round-bellied girl into his arms, lowered his head and buried his head in her hair, took a deep breath, raised his lips and chuckled, "Are you full?" Yechiao Mian nodded and touched her stomach, "I'm full. Full of being full." She didn't even know that she could eat so well. The amount of food in this meal is more than what we usually eat in a day. Now that I've fed you, shouldn't you satisfy my request now? Chiao Mian was stunned for a moment. What's the request? She immediately thought that he was asking for a kiss or something. His face couldn't help but turn red. Unexpectedly, Moyesi held her and fell down on the sofa. He pressed her under him, buried his head in her neck, and said in a vague voice, "Sleep with me." What? In an instant, Chiao Mian's face turned red. She was frightened and pushed the man on top of her, and said with embarrassment and annoyance, "Moyesi, get up. I don't want to sleep with you here. This big pervert." He actually wanted to have with her in a place like a restaurant. He is too shameless. Chiao Mian was so ashamed and angry that she felt that he didn't respect her at all. Even if she married him, she should fulfill her marital obligations, but it would be too unruly to do that in a place like a restaurant. What if someone opens the door and comes in and sees it? Even if no one comes in, such an occasion is not suitable. If you don't want to sleep here, then where do you want to sleep? Moyesi's voice gradually became deeper, as if he was falling asleep. Just sleep with me for an hour. It won't delay your afternoon class. Mian, I'm sleepy, let me sleep for a while. The man's breathing became long and shallow, and the head buried in her neck became motionless. End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 87. Chapter 87. What kind of sleeping position is he in? It was only then that Chiao Mian reacted. It turns out that when Moyesi said sleep, he just meant it literally. She actually thought wrong again. Thinking about all the speculation she had just made, she was almost embarrassed. She just thought that he was shameless, a big pervert, and didn't respect her enough. It turns out that she wanted to do it herself. The kiss at the beginning, and now, she was actually being sentimental. When did her thoughts become so dirty? Fortunately, Moyesi was already asleep and didn't know that she had thought wrongly about this matter, otherwise, she would have been really embarrassed. Chiao Mian's face was so hot that every pore seemed to be radiating heat. Without looking, she knew that her face would definitely turn red. The man's slender and tall body pressed against her, motionless. Chiao Mian looked particularly petite under him, and her whole body was covered by him. Her face was facing his chin, and if she moved her head a little, she would touch his Adam's apple. The man's refreshing and charming breath filled his breath. His warm and moist breath spread on her neck. With every breath, Chiao Mian felt itchy on her neck. The room is so quiet that you can hear each other's breathing clearly. The sun shines down from the window and shines on the wooden floor, and the clear and melodious chirping of birds comes from the courtyard. Moyesi, Chiao Mian called softly, unable to believe that he fell asleep like this. Isn't this speed of falling asleep too fast? Did you fall asleep after lying on her for less than 2 minutes? Didn't he say that every time he had insomnia, he would never feel sleepy? The man made no sound and remained motionless. Moyesi? Are you really asleep? Chiao Mian called him softly again. Being pressed by such a tall and upright man, she felt like she was about to be crushed. Especially, Moyesi also had strong muscles. With such a heavy weight, she really felt like she would be crushed. The man still had no response. Apparently, he has fallen asleep. Moreover, he slept very deeply. Chiao Mian was pressed to the point of being unable to move. What kind of sleeping position is he in? Is there anyone like him who sleeps on top of others? He had no idea how tall and heavy he was and whether he could press on her. She is really, fast, panting, no, over, angry. Chiao Mian wanted to kick him away, but thinking of what he had said before, she felt a little unbearable in her heart. Forget it, he finally fell asleep. Seeing that he had helped her so many times and treated her well, she would just try to endure it as much as possible. Asterisk. I don't know if it was due to Mo Yesie's influence, but within a few minutes, Chiao Mian also felt a little drowsy. When she woke up again, she found that she was in the car. She was wearing Mo Yesie's suit jacket, and the man sleeping on top of her was sitting in the driver's seat, concentrating on driving. As soon as she opened her eyes, she heard his voice beside her, "Are you awake? Have you slept well?" Chiao Mian rubbed her eyes. "Why did I fall asleep?" She had no idea when she fell asleep or when he got her into the car. Obviously she slept with him. In the end, she fell asleep for a long time. Mo Yesie slightly curled his lip. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 88. Chapter 88. Mian, thank you. Chiao Mian reached out and touched her face, feeling a little embarrassed. She slept very well last night, and she didn't know why she was so sleepy at noon today. Then did you sleep well? Chiao Mian turned her head and looked at him, feeling that his mental state seemed to be much better and he didn't look so tired. Ah, very good. The corners of Mo Yesie's lips curled up happily. Mian, thank you. Even if it was only for a short hour, it relieved him physically and mentally, but it was much better. The quality of sleep in that hour was much better than the 3 or 4 hours he got at night. I didn't wake up during the trip, and I didn't have any nightmares. Wake up from sleep and feel like you are reborn. Thank me. Chiao Mian looked at him doubtfully. Thank me for what? The red light came on ahead. Mo Yesie stopped the car, turned his head, and stared at her deeply. Thank you for sleeping with me. I slept very comfortably this hour. Cough cough cough. Chiao Mian coughed violently. What he said is so ambiguous. She coughed violently until tears came to her eyes. She gasped a few times and looked at him with accusations in her eyes. Mo Yesie, can you speak more normally? What does it mean to thank her for sleeping with him? How can I sleep so comfortably? Whoever hears this will think too much. Huh? What's wrong? Mo Yesie looked at the girl's delicate cheeks with a blush on her face, her dark and vivid eyes filled with tears, staring at him accusingly, her aggrieved and embarrassed look arousing. Very loving. It's really as cute as you want it to be. Maybe she doesn't know it herself, but when she glares at others in anger, not only is she not fierce at all, but she looks very soft and cute. Looking at the milk is fierce. It is very similar to a small puppy or kitten. The more ferocious it is, the more people want to tease it. You asked knowingly, Chiao Mian growled in embarrassment. Mo Yesie pretended to be confused and raised his eyebrows. If you don't tell me, how will I know? Do you mean sleeping with me, or sleeping comfortably? If it's these two sentences, I really don't understand what's going on. It's not normal anymore. After saying that, before Chiao Mian could speak, he raised his eyebrows again and raised the corners of his lips playfully. Baby, are you thinking wrongly? Do you think I meant to sleep with you? Although I think about it, but no matter how much I want it, I won't wrong you in that place. As soon as he finished his last words, he saw the face of the girl beside him quickly blushing, and her fair and delicate little face turned into a gorgeous crimson color in an instant. I won't tell you any more. Chiao Mian was so teased that her hair was about to explode. She simply turned her head and stopped looking at him, not wanting to say another word to him. This man, Mo Yesie, is really hateful. Does he think she is his cat or dog? He teases her at every turn. He is really, really hateful. From now on, she will never say another word to him. No way. Asterisk. Chiao Mian Mian does what she says. She didn't say a word to Mo Yesi until he sent her to school. After parking the car, she unbuckled her seat belt, said goodbye and got out of the car. A click sound. She reached out to pull the car door, but heard the sound of the car door being locked. Beside me, the man chuckled and said, "Still angry with me? Baby, I was just joking with you. Do you plan to ignore me in the future?" End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 89. Chapter 89. Don't you want me to send you off? Chiao Mian Mian couldn't open the car door. She turned her head angrily, biting the corners of her lips and staring at him. "Open the car door, I want to get out." Mo Yesi raised the corners of his lips, "Then kiss me and I'll let you get off." She was annoyed by him and said angrily, "I don't." Before the last word could be uttered, the man stretched out his hand and pulled her into his arms. Mo Yesi lowered his head and kissed her deeply, holding her chin and lifting her face, wantonly plundering the sweet scent between her lips and teeth. "The girl in my arms tastes so good. At first I just wanted to give it a try, kissing and kissing, but then I lost control." The gentle kiss turned into a deep and hot kiss that almost sucked away the soul. In the car, the temperature is rising. The air is filled with an ambiguous and charming atmosphere. The subtle sounds made between the intertwining lips and teeth can make people blush and their hearts beat. The petite man in his arms softened into a puddle of water. His white and tender hands weakly pulled the buttons of his shirt. His breathing was ragged and rapid, and his bright red face was like a peach blossom blooming in March. Mo Yesi was moved by the kiss. "Well, don't." There was a sudden chill in her chest, and Chiao Mian Mian recovered from her confusion in an instant. Her face turned red and she stretched out her hand to push him away. Mo Yesi came back to his senses after being pushed by her. He raised his head and looked with his dark, burning eyes at the girl whose face was flushed by his kiss. His burning gaze fell on the girl's red and tender lips. He stayed there for a few seconds before moving away with difficulty. His breath was a little short, and he spoke with a hoarse voice, "Baby, what should I do?" Chiao Mian Mian blushed and her heart beat fast. She didn't dare to look at him at all. "What should I do?" Mo Yesi looked at her steadily, his eyes as dark as the deep sea. "I'm hungry." "Are you hungry?" Chiao Mian Mian didn't react for a while and said in surprise, "I just had lunch and didn't have much." Mo Yesi. Chiao Mian Mian was really panicked. She stretched out her hand and pushed on the man's strong and hot chest. Her tone was weak, with the meaning of request, "I want to get off, please let me down." Baby Mo Yesi's hand tightened around her waist, and his low and hoarse voice contained forbearance, "Don't be afraid, I like you, that's why I react like this to you. Be good and stop moving. Otherwise I can't guarantee whether I will lose control and kill you." As soon as Chiao Mian Mian heard this, she didn't dare to move anymore. She sat stiffly in his arms. Mo Yesi's body also tensed up. He hugged her tightly and panted quickly on her shoulder. A few minutes later, his breathing slowly calmed down. Chiao Mian Mian bit the corner of her lip and cried, are you better? Can you let me go?" These few minutes were a whirlwind for her. Mo Yesi reached out to touch her head, pinched her chin and kissed her, then said in a hoarse voice, "Well, let's go, I'll take you downstairs to the dormitory." "No need, I'm still myself." Chiao Mian Mian instinctively wanted to refuse. Before she finished speaking, She felt the man's face darken and his eyes turned cold. You don't want me to give you a gift? Do you think I can't do it? Don't want people to know that you are with me. End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 90. Chapter 90. Remember to miss me. Chiao Mian couldn't open the car door. She turned her head angrily, biting the corners of her lips and staring at him. Open the car door, I want to get out. Mo Yesi raised the corners of his lips, then kiss me and I'll let you get off. She was annoyed by him and said angrily, I don't. Before the last word could be uttered, the man stretched out his hand and pulled her into his arms. Mo Yesi lowered his head and kissed her, holding her chin and lifting her face, wantonly plunging the sweet scent between her lips and teeth. A few minutes later, Mo Yesi reached out and touched Chiao Mian's head, pinched her chin and kissed her, then said in a hoarse voice, well, let's go, I'll take you downstairs to the dormitory. No need, I'm still myself. Chiao Mian instinctively wanted to refuse. Before she finished speaking, she felt the man's face darken and his eyes turned cold. You don't want me to give you a gift? Do you think I can't do it? Don't want people to know that you are with me. No, Chiao Mian was stunned for a moment, then immediately shook her head in denial. How could he not be able to take action? He is quite capable of doing this. It was because it was so good that she didn't want him to give it to him. He has been running to school frequently in the past 2 days, which has already earned her a lot of hatred. Mo Yesi opened the car door and said in a strong tone that she could not refuse, then let me see you off. Get out of the car. Asterisk. After getting out of the car, Mo Yesi held her hand. His palms were very broad and warm. Her hands were wrapped in his palms, giving her a very stable feeling. It seems that once you hold this hand, you can hold it for a lifetime. The two of them walked hand in hand along the tree-lined paths of the campus. Mo Yesi is dressed in a suit and leather shoes, and he is dressed in the style of a social elite. His deep and handsome face, his dignified aura, and his cold and ascetic charm are all eye-catching. Not to mention, he also has a perfect figure with incredibly long legs. With a height of nearly 190 centimeters, he always stands out from the crowd no matter where he appears. Along the way, countless girls were peeking at him and screaming excitedly at him. Do you know who that man is? He's very handsome. Is the girl next to him Chiao Mian? Didn't Chiao Mian just break up with Suzy? Why is she with another man again? I heard that Chiao Mian cheated on another man, and Suzy broke up with her. Couldn't it be this man? Suzy is so handsome and comes from a wealthy family. He has always been doting on her, but she actually cheats on her? I think the man she is looking for now has no other advantages besides being handsome. Can he be as rich as Suzy? Yes, I also heard that Suzy gave Chiao Mian a large breakup fee. Could this man be the pretty boy she was looking for? Originally, after knowing that Suzy and Chiao Mian broke up, many people were waiting to see her laugh. Thought she would become miserable. But who would have known that just after they broke up, they would immediately find someone so handsome? Regardless of whether this man has money or not, his good looks alone make many people seriously jealous. Why does she, Chiao Mian, have boyfriends one after another, each one more handsome than the last? Chiao Mian did not hear these discussions. Asterisk. Mo Yesi sent Chiao Mian to the girls' dormitory. Go up. He let go of the hand holding hers and raised his chin towards her. I'll watch you go up. Oh, then, I'll go up. You should also go back to the company as soon as possible. The moment he let go, Chiao Mian felt a little empty in her heart, a little out of habit. He led me for about 10 minutes. She is not used to him not holding her hand anymore. She waved to him, goodbye. After finishing speaking, he turned around and walked upstairs. Mian. Chiao Mian had just taken 2 steps when she heard the man behind her calling her name softly. The tone was unexpectedly gentle. Chiao Mian's heart skipped a beat and she stopped. She turned around slowly. Is there anything else? Mo Yesi strode forward, looked down at her, curled his lips and chuckled, well, I forgot one thing. What? As soon as she finished speaking, he pulled her into his arms and held her tightly. The man's gentle kiss was devoid of any desire or eroticism, and he gently landed on her forehead, eat well, go to school well, sleep well. Also, remember to miss me. Tomorrow is Monday, and everyone can go back to school and work again. Are you happy? Yes, I did it on purpose. End of this chapter.